another one.
What do your work hours look like? Normal work hours, on-call duties, day shift, night shift, etc. So, I'll give my like how my current work hours look, and then I'll talk about how they've pretty much looked in the past. So, I, for one, work remote, and I kind of like match my hours to the hours that my team works. So the majority of my team works central time. So I'll probably log on a little bit earlier, maybe like an hour earlier than them, and I'll start working. And so I probably work 9 a.m. to 5:30, 6 p.m. Central Time. Eastern time, not Central Time, Eastern Time. And on call duty. So uh we have like on call for the services that we own. And it's a rotation for all the people who are on the team. And on call, and I mean that structure is going to be changing soon. But yeah, I work day shift. I do not work night shift, right? So that is my current. Did I start the clock? I didn't start the clock. All right, I start the clock. Wait. But in the past, I I worked. Let's see. So this is for a QA position, right? I've been doing QA. Um, Honestly, there's like here's what you have to understand. When it comes to work hours, if you are not a hourly employee, then work hours are very flexible, right? Like there's an expectation of the time that you're supposed to be on, that you're supposed to be available, but they're flexible in the sense of it's really based on the work getting done. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna log on at 9 o'clock sharp and I'm gonna log off at 5 o'clock sharp. That mentality just doesn't work. You have to be available and you need to be able to get the job done. You have goals that you need to reach. So you need to be focused on that. Um, and then depending on the type of work that you do, you might have to be on call because if you are in a service like service as a software type thing, then you have to be available. And if things go bad, then you have to be available. So for instance, I have Slack on my phone, and I get notifications and stuff like that to check, even when I'm not like on call or something. But I always like to monitor in case I'm being tagged in something, in case I'm needed. But that's the nature of as you elevate yourself in in especially in the tech space, right? But let's say you were in sales. I would imagine that if you're in sales, you're commission based, so you're always going to be available to be able to talk to potential clients, potential customers, and stuff like that, because you never know when that next deal is the next big deal. So I'm like always available, although I'm not always like working like after hours, but during the daytime, I'm always available. I'm always and you know, it's regular shift. But in the past, although like I would be working regular shifts and stuff like that, it was more of hybrid roles. For instance, when there would be a major release that's happening, then if I have to be like, there's been times that I've been available at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. There's been time like there was one project that we're working on where because our customers were in Japan and they needed support for the initial launch of the product, we had to work overnight. We worked overnight from home, but we still had to work overnight. And it was me and a crew of QA, more junior QA engineers, and we were like, making sure nothing went down, making like we were just working our regular hours. But like what we would normally do during the daytime, we just did it at nighttime, and then for it was like I think we did it for like a week or so. In the past, like when I was when for another company when we were supporting, like we had to do some development and testing for a lawsuit. We ended up like I spent the whole weekend at the office that time. I probably went home for like an hour and then came back. And then if you want to elevate, especially in the tech field, you're going to have to do what you have to do. You have to show initiative. You have to go out there and get it. anything you want to achieve, you have to go out there and get it. Nothing is going to be handed to you. Even if we talk about that nepotism that Pluto is talking about, but you know, it's it's rare cases that the nepotism can protect you from if you're doing a terrible job. Because at the end of the day, you still have to produce. And if you are a liability, unless it's like your parent is the owner or something like that, who knows, right? But at the end of the day, you have to produce. What can you produce? So nepotism can't like nepotism might be able to get you the job, but it won't necessarily keep you the job. You might be giving a little more grace, but it's about you going out there and get it. So I I also remember when I was doing tech support and there was a major hurricane down here in South Florida, and they like the company had they called them the stormtroopers, and they were at the office for like a week straight with barely any power. And then once they like we had there was like no power for 2 weeks, and then once they started like opening up the roads a little bit more, then they started bringing people in from like other employees in, but they were still working like these like segments and shifts. And I was going there for like you know um 12-hour blocks and stuff like that. We're working and stuff like that. So work hours vary, but I'll tell you this. Do not worry as much on the work hours as much on what do we need to get the job done, and collaborate and negotiate and stuff like that, and go from there. All right. So that is my thoughts and my ideas on work hours. I work normal work hours, but I'm always willing to do whatever we need to do to get it done.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.